Hello, everyone. So, you'll excuse me if I'm back in this format because A, still have a webcam on the fritz, and B, I can't get down to the toy shop because my car is in the middle of being repaired, so I can't go there to film. So, this is what I have at the moment to work with. Hope you forgive me. But hey, it's a good opportunity to look at something rather small, and in this case, it's actually quite appropriate. So, on my trips to Arizona and California, I discovered these, which were Kabaya box kits that I assumed were just tiny little models because it's Kabaya. It's kind of what they do. Um, Open them up to find fully assembled figures inside. So that did away with my plan to make content out of building Galaxy Force and Superlink figures. But hey, we do get these to talk about at least. So these are just Kabaya candy toy figurines, and pretty large for candy toys. Give it that. So well, you can see like I'm on a cutting board for a model, so you can see it's about 4.5 inches tall. Or if you want to bring in skids here to kind of compare, yeah, it's about what we used to call like a scout class figure, essentially. That's roughly around the size, and it is fairly cheaply built. You can tell it's very, very simple and very small part count. There's very little articulation to these guys. Quite hollow inside, but you get shoulders that move up and down. The gun is removable, the head rotates, and the knees swivel. And that's about all you get out of these Galaxy Force ones, much to my chagrin. I don't know why Prime's head is floating so high off his body. That's a strangely tall neck for Galaxy Convoy. But you know what? As just a simple little Galaxy Convoy, he's not a bad little figure. Maybe he needs a little bit more paint to get him looking correct, but that might be a fun little side project one, boring afternoon. It's not bad, though, for what it is. Now, part 2 of this is when we bring in the Super Mode Galaxy Convoy, where he gets smaller. So don't give me anything about scale here. So just because it's a plastic weight limitation thing, the Galaxy Force Super Mode Grand or Galaxy Convoy, getting a lot of terms to remember here, a little bit smaller to make room for the wings in the budget. So basically the same points of articulation here. Again, the guns are removable, so in this case you actually can plug them into the back for their little storage mode, the way that just in case you want to keep them out of the way. They store a little bit better the other way around. There we go. Just if you want to put them away. Why would you, though? It's half the fun. At least the neck here is not like super floaty. The proportions on this are a little bit better. And he's actually a tiny bit smaller than the hybrid style Galaxy Convoy that came out. If you remember how big that was. Mine's buried at the moment, so I can't really demonstrate. But again, you're getting into that around 3.5 inches of height here. Nothing terribly exciting, but I thought interesting. Tiny Galaxy Convoy. I can get behind that. And of course, you have to have a Megatron as well. He's as colorful as this Megatron incarnation always was. Swivel up here at the shoulders. That's about all the real meaningful articulation you get, because the head is obstructed by the fake hinges on his torso, and he doesn't really get the knee rotation because the plastic is so gummy it doesn't feel like it wants to rotate at all. Ankles rotate if you need that for some reason. This one's not quite as good, mostly because of that gummy little hip. The hips are like a really soft plastic for some reason, so they don't feel good. They do not feel good at all. And of course, he has no accessory to him. He just has this like big backpack of what would be transformation parts. I mean, at the very least, he looks nice if you can find him cheap. Well, I paid like $10 for this, which for the age of it is not bad. I don't know. It's not something I'd go out of my way to buy. I just happened to see it and went, ooh, Galaxy Force, mine. However, that's the Galaxy Force side of it. Turns out the Superlink figures that I bought in those same style of boxes, also from Kabaya, work a little bit differently. And by that I mean they actually work. So here's Grand Convoy from Superlink. Once again, we can bring in skids for a comparison shot, and you can see he's actually comparable in size. So yeah, we're talking about like what today would be a beefy deluxe. So imagine that, and that's where you got the height for this Grand Convoy. And much to my surprise, these are functional. These are actually functional. So you do have ranges of articulation. There's, look out, listen how tight those hips are. Those are, yeah, that's about 17 years of hasn't moved since the factory assembled it. But at least it's tight, right? So basic arm articulation, the arms go out as well. Don't have really anything in the head here. Gun is removable. Everything's removable. Check this out. So fold down, we can fold down the chest and we can actually play with it as if it was a Grand Convoy. Flip the helmet back. We'll get these legs off. The feet fold out just like the large version of the toy. And hey, look, there we go. At about a core class size, here we have, the Fat Shame Optimus Prime, which we did back in the day. It's not cool now. That's not cool now. Let's put it to rest. If anything, he's built like a sumo wrestler. But yeah. It's so squeaky. So squeaky. But yeah, it's a functioning Grand Convoy, much to my shock. So we can also transform it. This actually requires part forming. There's no actual hinges to this. And by part forming, I mean like I have to clip everything in just to make sure all of this will actually fit. Otherwise, nothing actually works. So actually have to use that back piece to hold the arms in place for the vehicle mode. It's unfortunate. And the head can't go any farther back. Like there's no extra hinge to flip it out all the way so it kind of fits behind the shoulders. But you can actually turn them into vehicle mode, which is a nice little bonus. All the drones work the same way too. So here is Digger 3 in his leg mode. We can move that down and then we can lower it. You can see the slot there. So you can actually form the arms and legs of the drones in any combination you want, just like the original. Actually not bad. If you could find 4 of these drone sets, you could actually see what Grand Convoy would look like if all the components actually worked independently. Or what I mean is, like, I don't even know why I phrased it that way. That's not even close to what I meant. You can actually see what Grand Convoy looks like when he has matching limbs. That's what I was going for. Brain worky sometimes. So, like I showed you, everything works exactly the way it used to. Yeah, that doesn't claw open, so maybe not exactly the way. This actually has like a little fun function that I wish all of them did, where the front end flips forward and you can hide it behind the fist, which makes this a little bit more useful and doesn't have like a weird flap hanging out the front of it. I'll go ahead and turn him into the fire mode. Come on, there we go. I don't believe does the ladder extend? It actually looks like it might be a separate piece. Yeah, you can tell I didn't try this beforehand. Hey! I'm actually kind of surprised they bothered to put that in. So there you go. 4 transforming drones, and part forming, yes, but a transforming Energon Optimus Prime. So that was a really pleasant surprise. I genuinely did not expect that kind of functionality. Can I put his gun? No, that doesn't fit. All right, we tried. Yeah, the only thing missing is a little tiny trailer for all of these to stack up in. Time to look for 3D print. Not that anyone's actually tried to figure out how to 3D print no one taking the time to 3D model something for this. So these were fun. This was a really fun surprise. That's actually amusing. And what I thought it was going to be one of the kits they did, because I used to have the Grand Scourge model kit, which is about the same size, and it was in Scourge colors, with the drones all in like really sickly shades of colors. And yeah, that was kind of what I expected. So fully formed, as a little bit of a shock. All right, so we got one more to go, and I want you to brace yourselves here. They also did Superlink Galvatron. I was so excited because I opened up Convoy first. So I was getting super excited because I already had the Megatron, of course, and like, ooh, that would actually be really cool. Even if the articulation is super simple and it needs more paint, just the idea of having like a tiny little desktop-sized Energon Megatron was really appealing to me because I still really like this design, and I hate that the best versions of it are all too freaking big for me to easily store. So I was actually really, really happy when I realized what I had. And then I opened it up and realized what I had. Listen to that. Listen to that rattle. Listen to it. Listen to it. This is the floppiest figure I've ever seen in my life. So, just compare. Oh, this was such a letdown. So yeah, the legs have absolutely no friction whatsoever. They don't stay in any pose. There's no way to actually get it to actually keep its leg up in any way. It can barely stand because the weight of the backpack, and even then it's like super tricky to get it to actually stay upright. And offhand, I have to bend him over in order to get that to work. It's such a letdown. This was so exciting until I actually got it open. Yeah, so if you actually like bother, yes, he does have a universal shoulder joint, nothing in the elbow, nothing in the head, nothing in the waist, and then yeah, the worst ball joints on these hips that I have ever seen in my life. And the hinges keeping the legs straight ain't that great either. There's no click in, there's nothing like locking this into position. You'll also notice he's got no kneecaps. That's because the kneecaps have to be part formed from vehicle to robot mode, and they're supposed to clip in right there. And the trick is they barely hold on. Like, there's no clip in here, there's no friction, there is no nothing, you know, as soon as, you know, they don't hold, like, at all. So this was a letdown. This was a letdown all the way around. I can transform it. I can transform it if you want to see that too. He does require part forming as well, in the form of these wings needing to come off. Okay, so at least the feet like slide in the way the originals did, so it has that going for it at least. If that's like at all a selling point for this toy. Hey, this one thing works the way it's supposed to. Alright, so in order to get all of this shored up, it all basically just like depends on these wings. Like all these have to be locked in the right correction. God, can I even remember which direction Megatron's wings go? So yeah, everything has to be plugged in. There's 2 pegs on the wing itself that have to plug into the back, and then 2 sockets that the legs have to plug into. And it's got to go on straight, which is not easy because there's really no like wiggle room. There's no forgiveness in this toy. You know, everything's got to be exactly right. Oh, there. I gotta try to push that down in there. Click this. Nope. Missed the legs. Come on, peg in. Peg in. There we go. Alright, and get the... Alright, that's not how it's supposed to go. That's supposed to double hinge. I think it's supposed to double hinge. It's not double hinging. It wants to go down too far. No, crazy. Why am I worried about how accurate this thing is at this point? So yeah, that's your relative amount of what you get out of the jet mode. Again, these are supposed to clip on. They actually work better in this mode than they do the actual Yeah, they work better here in the actual robot mode because the tabs are actually correctly sized and placed for it. I say that now. I say that as this one like immediately wants to slip off. No, has to go the other way. Okay, we'll pretend that's staying firmly. It's firm enough to actually show it on camera. How about that? Yeah, so I guess like when everything is pegged together as hard as possible, yes, the jet mode is actually not bad. Again, in desperate need of paint, but at least it's holding together and nothing's flopping all over the place. That's about the only benefit to this figure. Otherwise, it's a pretty sad sight. It's just so disappointing, you know? It's like, hey, this is a tiny version of one of your favorite 2000s designs? Sure. No. It is a quality control nightmare. And in that there was no quality control, which just kind of threw it in a bag and hoped it worked. It doesn't work. But just in case you ever run across these, that is going to be your lot. So, Galaxy Convoy and Master Megatron do not transform or function whatsoever. They're just little figurines. Grand Convoy, yeah, he's actually, if you find him at a little shop like I did, he's worth snapping up. He actually does have a good little bit of play to him. And then if you see the Superlink Galvatron, run. Just run. Ignore it. Forget about it. Unless you are really good at customizing and repairing toys, not worth it. If you can shore up the joints, he might be tolerable. Other than that, man, what a letdown. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised. It's a candy toy. Like, I mean, I should expect it to be super cheap. But when Grand Convoy came out so nice, I had such hope, and they were dashed so quickly. So, there's my opinion. If you ever run across these, this is mostly just me. It's not even a review. It's mostly just me reacting to how disappointed I was. But hopefully someone gains something from it, and if you go hunting for obscure Galaxy Force or Superlink toys, you know what to avoid now. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.